Hey Libras, welcome to another reading. My name is Jo and welcome to Urban Tarot. I hope you've all had a very happy, healthy and wonderful week, and thank you for joining me today for another video. Well, we're doing something very different. It's not different for me, it's something that I do quite often, but I thought it might be something a little bit interesting for you guys for this video. So what we're going to do is I have purchased two objects. It took me a while to find them. One is this rabbit here, which I purchased from an antique shop, and the other one is a teapot, which I will show you directly. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up on the energy of these objects, and we are going to find out, hopefully this morning, through my guides and through my angels, if the owner to these objects will be channeled through. Hopefully they will, and they can tell us a little bit about their life. So I've already meditated beforehand, and I've been working on some of these objects throughout the week. So this is not the first time I've done a reading with these objects. After I purchased them, I went into some deep meditation, and I started to get some imagery with the first object, which is the rabbit. So we're going to see if we can get the owner of this toy rabbit to be channeled through here this morning, and hopefully they can share a little bit about their life with us, which will be very, very interesting. So I'm just going to ask for Spirit and my guides to come through, because I also need to ask for their protection. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, guides. Thank you, angels. I ask for your protection as I pick up the energy frequencies from these objects. I ask that you will be able to bring the owner of this rabbit through, so I can get some nice, clear messages, and perhaps, if I'm lucky, they will be willing to share a little bit of their life with us here this morning, the owner who owned this toy rabbit. It would be wonderful to hear about their life and a little bit of their life story. I ask that you, when you bring this person through, it is them only and only them, and that you protect us from other energies and from other entities as you only bring the owner of this rabbit through. Thank you, guides. Thank you, angels. Thank you, Spirit. And thank you, crossed over loved ones, for your protection also. Thank you. Well, I'm just going to give me a moment, guys, just while I have a feel of this bunny and just see what energies that I'm picking up. Okay, well, I have a name. I do believe it's a little girl that owned this bunny, and her name is Mary. Hello, Mary. Thank you, Mary, for coming through. Yes, no, thank you. It would be really nice if we could talk to you. Mary, how old are you? You're 5. Okay, you're 5 years old. Well, my name is Jo, so it's nice to meet you, and thank you for coming through this morning to talk to us about your bunny. How long ago did you have this bunny, and is it something that you used to play with all the time? You used to play with him in the garden. Okay, so first of all, Mary, if you just give me a moment, I'm going to write down your name, Mary, and you said that you used to play with him in the garden, is that right? She's saying yes. So I'm just going to write that down. Play with in the garden. Does your toy rabbit have a name? She's laughing and she's saying no. She said his name is just Bunny. Okay, well that's a really nice name for a rabbit. I think Bunny is very cute. So his name is Bunny, just Bunny. Okay. And did your mum or your dad buy Bunny for you, or was it a birthday gift, or how did you get Bunny? Just give me a minute, guys. Daddy brought him home for you. Well, that's a really nice surprise. It's nice when your mum and dad do things like that for you. He's your favourite toy. Okay, so we're going to write that down. So, Daddy brought him home for you. Daddy brought him home. Daddy brought him home for you. Is there anything that you would like to tell us about your playtime with Bunny, or when you had your earthly life here? Is there anything that you would like to tell us today? You used to have tea parties in the garden. Well, that's really, really gorgeous. When I was a little girl, I used to have tea parties in the garden also with my toys. Particularly with my younger brother, we used to play tea parties in the garden. Hang on. Mummy won't be happy with your dress. Okay, just give me a moment, Mary, and just let me write these things down. Tea parties in the garden. Tea parties in the garden. Mummy is not happy with your dress. He's not happy with your dress. Can you tell us why Mummy is not going to be happy with your dress? What happened to your dress? There's lots of laughing, guys, and lots of giggling going on that I can hear. It's dirty. And why is it dirty? Okay, because you were making mud pies. Bunny also got covered in mud. Well, I can see that Bunny is very well loved. Bunny has got some, looks like moth holes, and is a little bit weathered, I have to say, but he looks like he has been loved very much. So you were making mud pies, mud pies, and Bunny got dirt on him also. Bunny got dirt on him also. Okay, Mary, well, you've told us that you used to play with Bunny and used to have tea parties in the garden and you used to make mud pies, and that Mummy is not going to be happy with your dress because, is that right, what I'm saying? Yes, because you got mud or dirt on your dress. Is there anything else that you remember about your earth life that you used to do? You remember being sick, and was that how? Do you remember when you got sick? Playing outside in the cold. Okay, so I'm guessing that maybe it was winter time. I'm just going to write that down, Mary. Just give me a minute. Playing outside in the cold. Was that winter time when you were playing outside? No. Okay. So it's just particularly cold? You'll have to speak up, Mary, so I can hear, because there's lots of other chatter going on in the background. You would play until dark. Okay, so, well, when the sun's going down, the temperature does drop, and it does start to get very cold, especially where I live here. This town, guys, that I live in is actually known for its very cold weather. And also the rain, which a lot of people would probably be quite amazed at that, because I live in Australia, and Australia is known for its extremely hot weather. And don't get me wrong, it does get very, very hot here in the summer, but throughout the rest of the year it can get extremely cold and extremely wet. So that's starting to make a lot of sense to me. Mary, do you remember what happened when you got sick? Flames really moving about there, guys, if you can see that. You got wet? Is that right? You got wet? You got wet and cold. Okay. Wet and cold. Do you remember anything else? You couldn't stop coughing. Okay. You couldn't stop coughing. Is there anything else that you remember, Mary? Anything else you remember about being sick? You have to speak up so I can hear. Okay, guys, she's saying that the doctor came, but it didn't help. So that's really, really sad. So the doctor came, Mary, and he couldn't help. She's saying he couldn't make her better. Okay. Doctor came and couldn't make you better. Is there anything else, Mary, that you can tell us that you remember about that time? Anything else? You had Bunny tucked up in bed with you? Well, I'm sure Bunny was very happy to be tucked up in bed with you. He probably couldn't think of a better place to be than tucked up snug and warm with you in bed. Is there anything else you can remember? You went to sleep and you didn't wake up. Okay, went to sleep. And didn't wake up. Okay, Mary, is there anything else that you would like to tell us about your earthly life here when you were alive in your physical body? Is there anything else that you would like to tell us? That you're happy and you're with Mummy and Daddy now. Okay. Well, Mary, thank you so much for coming through and telling us a little bit about your life and about your bunny. I really do appreciate the fact that you could come through and you could talk to us. Thank you, guys, for bringing her through. We're going to say goodbye now, Mary, and we're just very, very grateful, and we're just so happy that you're able to come through and talk to us. Thank you, gods. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, angels. Thank you, Mary. Bye, Mary. Thank you. Whew. Okay. Well, that was Mary. I should have asked her last name, and I didn't. It's so weird, but when you pick up these energies from other people that have owned particular objects, particular items. They're very eager a lot of the time, especially children, and they talk so fast. They talk really, really fast at a rapid speed, and it's really hard to get all the information. And there's also lots of background chatter as well, even though I did ask specifically for guides, for my guides and angels not to allow anyone else to come through. Sometimes they're sort of standing on the edges and you still pick up on their energies, even though they haven't come through into your space. But it's like static noise, like white noise, like background noise. But anyway, that was incredible. That was amazing, being able to talk to Mary. The whole time she was communicating with me, I could actually see her. She was in a beautiful white summer dress. Even though she said that she got sick because it was cold. She got wet and she got cold. But, you know, as I said, this place that I live in, you know, it can be, you can have literally have 4 seasons in one day here. It can be warm and sunny, and then it could turn horrendously cold and wet. It's, you know, the weather here where I live is extremely unpredictable. But, you know, I am seeing her in this wonderful white dress with sort of, it's like the fabric. It's like a linen or like a matte sort of satin dress with big puffy sleeves, and she had her hair in pigtails. I could see her with Bunny playing in the garden with her little tea set, chatting away to Bunny with the most gorgeous ribbons in her hair. And I could actually see the mud and the dirt on her dress, and her sort of, you know, patting herself down, trying to pat all the dirt and the mud off her beautiful little dress. And I think that's what she was most concerned about, was, as she said, Mummy, what did she say? Hang on, let me turn over. Mummy's not happy with your dress. So she was concerned about her mother seeing all the dirt and all the mud on her dress, and you know, being in trouble, I guess, is what she was most concerned about. All right, well, that was very endearing and very, very interesting. As I said, I do this sort of thing all the time, so this is actually the norm for me, which some people might raise an eyebrow or two at, but this is something that I regularly do. So, I mean, it's always exciting when spirits come through, but I'm actually quite used to it. So, forgive my sort of, if I don't seem terribly excitable and over enthusiastic, but I also take it very, very seriously when spirits come through as well. So, you know, I just kind of wanted to explain that. Well, we're going to move on to the second object. So I'll move Bunny. Now, the second object that I was drawn to is this teapot. When I was in the antique shop, I looked at a number of objects, and these were the things that I was most drawn to: the rabbit and, of course, the teapot. So if you'll just give me a moment, I'm going to ask that guides and angels remain, and to make sure that they only bring through the person who owned the teapot. Thank you, guides. Thank you, angels. Thank you, Spirit. I ask, Spirit, that you bring through the owner of this teapot, the original owner of this teapot, that if they would be willing, if they could come through and perhaps tell us a little bit about their earthly life and the life that they had here on earth before they transitioned and crossed over. Please make sure, guides and of course Spirit, that it is the original owner, that you bring the original owner through only, and that no one else comes through, no other entities or spirits come through, just the original owner of the teapot. Thank you, spirits. Thank you, guides. Thank you, angels. Thank you for your protection. If you just give me a moment, guys. Okay. Well, the name that I'm picking up from this teapot is an elderly lady by the name of Myrtle. So hello, Myrtle. Thank you for coming through and for speaking with us this morning. She says you're welcome. Myrtle, I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about not only this beautiful teapot that I have here, but also if you would be willing to tell us a little bit about your life when you had your earthly body before you transitioned. We would love to hear about the life that you led. I'm seeing, I'm hearing lots of laughter, and I'm seeing a lady who's very, very happy. She's got a shawl around her neck, and I can see her sitting in one of those chairs that you often see in thrift shops. They have their tapestry, and they have like a tapestry floral print all over it. I can see her sitting in the chair, and she has like a purple sort of woolen shawl around her neck, and she's laughing. She's actually got quite a lot of wrinkles in her face. So she lived actually quite a ripe old age. I'm just giving just a description of you, Myrtle, just so the people watching this video here today can get a bit of an image of what you were like when you were in your earthly form. Could you tell us a little bit about your life, please, Myrtle? She's saying, guys, that she was a very big tea drinker, that this teapot is one of many. She said even though it's a sweet little teapot, it wasn't her favourite, but it was one that she used quite often. Hang on just a minute, I'm picking up something else. It's a teapot that she always had on her breakfast table in the morning. So for some reason it was always this teapot. As I said, even though she had many, this was like the teapot, the everyday teapot that she used every day. She's also saying it came with a marmalade dish, a matching dish that was filled with marmalade, which she used to enjoy having on her toast. And she actually just said she misses, that's one of the things she misses about her earthly form, is eating marmalade. She misses eating marmalade. Is there anything else that you can tell us, Myrtle, about your life, apart from your using your everyday teapot and having marmalade? Is there anything else that you can tell us about your life? What did you do when you were here in your earthly form? She said she was a farmer's wife. She used to do the accounting, so she used to do all the book work. She's saying to me that she was very good with numbers, very good with equations. And man, the flame is really flickering. That her husband wasn't so great with math, and that he relied on her to do all the book work. So that was her role. Can you tell us anything else, Myrtle, about your life? She's saying she hated getting up early. She said one of the things she had to do is, obviously being a farmer's wife, she had to get up extremely early, and to take care of various things, she's saying, on the farm. And she was just she never got used to being a farmer's wife and getting up early. She said even though they had a long marriage and a loving marriage, she just never ever got used to being a farmer's wife and getting up at the most ridiculous hours. And she's laughing while she's saying this. So she's got a very good sense of humour. She's also telling me that one day she was milking one of the cows, and one of the cows was not in a particularly good mood, and that it kicked the stool that she was sitting on, and she got covered in milk. It tipped up the bucket and she got covered in milk. And she's saying that the cow that she was milking, the milk was for their daily, it was for their breakfast. They used to have fresh cow's milk that they'd have on the table in their creamer for their breakfast, that they'd put in their coffee or tea. Even though she's saying she's not a coffee person, she's very much a tea lady. She loves her tea, and she loved cream in her tea. And hang on a minute. Oh, she's saying that the name of her cow was Daisy. So she said Daisy was very temperamental and very unpredictable, and you could never really tell what sort of mood Daisy was going to be in. But she said she loved her just the same, even though she was a very fickle and unpredictable cow. Is there anything else that you would like to tell us about your life? She says she lived a very simple life, but she said a long life. She said her life was very happy, very fulfilled, full of meaning. She had 5 children, and she said they were just a very simple, loving family. She said her and her husband worked very hard to provide for her children. That they had, she sat telling me they had wonderful Christmases on the farm. Christmas was very important to her. They used to cut down their own trees. They had pines growing on their acreage, and that they would take the children and they would select which tree they wanted, and it would be cut down and put on the back of the truck. And she said the kids, or the children, were always in high spirits and very, very excited, because they'd bring the Christmas tree in and they'd all decorate the Christmas tree. She's telling me that they lived in a 2-story farmhouse, that they would have pine that she would lovingly twirl all the way up the stairs, that she would have berries and other things, walnuts, she's saying, that she used to tie with red ribbon to the pine, and that Christmas was a very, very special occasion for them, and that they just adored Christmas. They loved Christmas. She's also saying that her husband was the love of her life and still is the love of her life, and that they're together. She said she's so proud of her children. She's so proud of her grandchildren, and she's even got some great grandchildren. And she's saying that she looks down on them incredibly lovingly, and she's so proud of her family, and that she's with her children every single day. Is there anything else that you would like to share? Is there anything else? She's saying that she has a message for all those who are lucky enough to hear this video. She's saying that you should make the most of every day, make every second count, and enjoy life, because life is a gift and life is precious. And she's laughing and she's saying, drink as much tea as possible. Well, I'll make sure that I do that. I do drink actually quite a lot of tea, but I'll make sure that every time, Myrtle, I have a cup of tea, I think of you. And thank you for coming through, Myrtle, for sharing a bit about sharing your life story, or a bit of your life with us here today. I will take very special care of your teapot. I actually have it placed on my kitchen dresser, and I'm actually going to use it this afternoon, and I'll make sure that I don't even have to make sure, I just will now. Every time I have a cup of tea and I use your wonderful teapot, I'm going to be thinking of you. So thank you, Myrtle, for coming through for us today. It's been wonderful to talk with you, and it's been wonderful hearing about your life that you had here on Earth, and I will make sure that I take very good care of your teapot. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, guides. Thank you, angels. Thank you for coming through, for bringing Myrtle through for us today. It was wonderful to hear about her life, and I really appreciate that, guides, Spirit, and angels. Thank you so much. Thank you, guides. Thank you, angels. Okay, well, before I end this video today, we're going to have a look at what the cards have got to say, and see if there's any other messages that Spirit would like to bring through for us. So I'm just going to give them a little bit of a shuffle. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, guides. Thank you, angels. Just wondering if there's any messages for the Libras watching here today, or any messages to do with the channeled energies that came through this morning. Any messages at all for Libras who are watching for their very last week of July. Thank you, Spirit. Any last messages for the last week of July for Libra, please? Okay. We're only going to do 3 cards today, my dear ones, because that actually was quite a long psychic reading. So we're only going to draw 3 cards. Any more messages for Libra, please, for the last week of July? Thank you. One more. One more. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, guides. Thank you, angels. One more card, please. And there's another one. They are flying out of the deck. Okay, so we have 10 of Wands, and we have the Ace of Wands, and we also have the Strength card. Well, in one way, the Strength card does relate a little bit to what Myrtle was saying. And that is, she said, make the most of every day, make the most of every second, and make each day count, make the moments count. And I think for a lot of you this week, I'll hold it up so you can see, I'm so sorry. I think for a lot of you this week, you have been struggling with particular things in your life. I feel that some of you've just not feeling that great. You're just things in your life are just particularly getting you down at the moment. I think it's family issues that are getting you down. I think it's work situation. I think you're particularly sick of certain things in your life, and you just want to crawl into a hole and hide, basically. But Spirit is saying, take heart, don't give up. Now is the time to muster all your courage and all your strength, and know that these are just periods of your life that everyone goes through. Everyone goes through ups. Everyone goes through downs, ups and downs. And I know that I've mentioned this many, many times before. We have good times, we have bad times, and that is just life. It's all part of the learning process and the learning experience that we have here down on Earth. And life can be tough. People at work can be frustrating, annoying, aggravating. For those of us who have night shift jobs, you're getting up extremely early in the morning when most people are snoring away and cozy in their beds. You're already up and working, and getting home at ridiculous hours, and then you have to sleep during the day because you work at night. And life is hard and life is difficult, and it can feel very, very pressurized sometimes. But Spirit wants you to know that things are going to turn around. They are turning around for you. It's just you need to keep being patient. You need to find all your courage and all your strength and to keep going. So Spirit's message for you today is not to lose heart. The second one we have here is the Ace of Wands, which I'm going to hold up here for you so you can see. Now, for me, the Ace of Wands represents, every reader's interpretation is different. But for me, it's almost like a heavenly gift. When you look at that card, you see a branch being offered from the heavens. It is covered in new growth. And if you look at that hand coming out of the clouds there, it's a bit dark for you to see. It's almost glowing white. And to me, what that represents is an offering from the heavens. Sorry, I'm struggling with my words here this morning. Is an offering from the heavens. So you can see that wonderful arm stretched out there, that wonderful branch with all that new growth. And what Spirit is saying, keep trusting in me, don't give up. Things are going to turn around. They are turning around for you already. New growth is all around, but you must keep your faith. You must have patience, and you must keep your faith. Keep your faith in me, and keep your faith in your own ability. So whatever project you are working on, guys, or whatever new career you are undertaking, Don't let the stress, don't let the pressure get to you. You're doing a wonderful job, and things are really going to prosper for you. If they haven't started to already, it's just around the corner. You've just got to hang on that little bit longer. And, you know, as Spirit is saying, have strength, have courage, take heart. New growth is all around, and things are going to improve. Prosperity is headed your way. Financial matters are going to improve. Relationship matters are going to improve. Things are going to get better. They are not going to stay the same. And it's the same here with the Ten of Wands. This guy here with all these wands that he's carrying, that he's busting his back, carrying all these wands. There's so many of them. But if you look at these wands, they have green tips on the very top. It's very dark there, isn't it? So again, there is new growth all around. And what I'm saying to you is, you know, all these hardships that you have faced, all these difficulties that you have faced, they have come to an end. You've reached an end of a cycle. They are finished with, and there is new growth all around you, and all those things that you have ever wished for, that you have ever wanted, are coming your way. Just keep having faith in Spirit, keep believing in yourself, and keep doing what you're doing. Don't give up. Don't listen to all those people who want to put their own 20 cents worth in, and who tell you what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. You know in your heart what you're doing. You know that you're on the right path, and you need to keep having that faith within yourself. And I'm telling you, things will start to change. Things will start to turn around. And I think once we're completely out of July, we're in the last week of July now, you are really going to see things really start to pick up, and that it will really be set in motion. You will really start to see things turning around. And, you know, you just got to keep believing and keep the faith, and don't give up, most of all. Well, my dear Libras, we're going to end this reading here because the video has gone on for far too long, as usual. I hope you enjoyed this psychic reading with these wonderful objects that I picked up. Once again, thank you to Myrtle and for Little Mary for coming through. Thank you to Spirit. Thank you to guides and my angels. Thank you, Spirit, so much for guiding them through into our realm and into our space. So I was able to hear a little bit about their life story when they were here on Earth in their earthly form. I thank you so very, very much. I hope, guys, that you enjoyed this reading, that there were messages or some inspiration in there for you. And as always, take care, and until next time, bye.